Nick Chubb feel like this is something he can get back from in a week, or do you think it's going to take a little longer?
For all the guys, our injury report comes out just as last week. Like for all of our guys, we're taking it day by day. We'll see how the week goes.
Coach, coming off 2 back-to-back road wins, that's one of the biggest ways to get confidence, especially late in the season. What does that tell you or reaffirm about your team?
Nothing for me. And I've been with these guys. I understand who we are, what we're about. So our guys just going out doing what we're capable of doing to help us win games.
D'Amico, your guys seem to have a knack for grabbing these like acrobatic interceptions. Is there anything you'll do that makes it easier for him to catch passes like that? I don't know if you can.
I wish the acrobatic interceptions and passes were from coaching, but it is not. It is strictly on pure athletic ability by all of our guys who are able to do those, outstanding plays. No, I can't help them there.
Sorry, Coach, what does it say about your team that after the game on Sunday night, pretty much every player that we interviewed was talking about somebody else outside of themselves? Yeah. Hey, Jalen Petrie, instead of talking about his own interception or his big hit that he had, he wanted to talk about Kalen and Kamari and Sting, and it was just like that all around the locker room. What does that say about your players?
Yeah, our guys and what we have here in our building, they understand it's about the team. Like it's team first. They understand the brotherhood and how I like that, how excited guys are for the other guy making a play. And nobody has to pump themselves up. Nobody needs a pat on the back, but they're excited to encourage their teammates and pump them up because that's what true team sports is all about, right? Encouraging the man next to you, and that's what our guys have. They have a true love for each other. They truly care about each other, and they all want to see each other, right, succeed and do well. So that's why you see the guys comment the way they comment.
As a defensive player, you see Jalen Petrie's tackling and the pop he gets and the way he sort of uncoils and goes through the guy. What is it about him that allows him, just your analysis, to be able to be that hard hitter?
Yeah, Jalen, he's a Stafford Cobra, hard hitter. That's where he gets it from. It's nothing that we did. He's been doing that since Little League. I bet. Like he's always, he's been a fun guy to watch. I watched him. I wasn't here, but watching him, his Baylor tape, it was the same thing. Like he played with his hair on fire, always. Populated the football wherever it was, whether he's blitzing, whatever he was doing. He's just always an impact player, I think, at every level he's been on.
With Tommy, you've talked about his consistency, but have you seen him this year? Like, how have you seen him most elevate his play on the field?
Tommy, which Tommy? All right, we got a couple of Tommies. All right. Tommy Toga, I mean, he's never had to elevate his play. For me, Tommy has just always been consistent. And that's the thing that I always said about Tommy, and that's what makes him a true pro. Like, he's just consistent. The things that we ask him to do, he doesn't play out of himself. He doesn't try to do something. He doesn't try to make plays where he's not supposed to make plays. He's just a smart football player. He plays with great technique, and that's kind of what I always allude to, playing football the right way, playing with fundamentals, playing with technique. Like, that's Tommy all the time. Like, you get consistent play out of him, and that's why he had, the impressive stat line that he had from our game versus the Chiefs. It looked like every time that they ran the football, Tommy was making a tackle or making a play, and nobody would expect it. You talk about our 4-man rush and our ends. Nobody would expect that Tommy was the first guy to get a sack on Pat Mahomes. So it's just about being consistent, doing your job to the best of your ability, and you have a huge game like Tommy had.
Go ahead, John.
Do you recall when you first identified him last year, or the first time he really stood out to you?
I think we got Tommy like late in the season. Late in the season, kind of the guy we needed. We lost someone, and we needed to add depth to our defensive tackle room. And to get a young guy like Tommy, he's taking the coaching very well. Coach Rod has done an outstanding job with him. I can't say enough good things about Tommy without saying, what Rod has done and how Rod has helped him to improve his game.
What are some of the things that you've seen from this Arizona Cardinals team? I know that the talent that they have and the way that they played this season, their record is not indicative of what they have, but what have you seen from them, especially with the quarterback like Jacoby Brissett?
That's the first thing that jumps out to me, right? You see a record, but they are not what their record says. Like, this is a really good football team, well-coached team. Quarterback is playing at a high level. I think he's, probably one of the better quarterbacks that we'll see all year. Like, when you talk about decision-making, like where he can place the football, he doesn't make bad decisions. He's not forcing the ball. It's not there. He's taking his check down. He's tough in the pocket. Really great versus the blitz. So you try to blitz him. He's made plays. He's shown to, drop some dimes on the sideline. So, I'm impressed with Jacoby and what he's been able to do. And also with their defense, the way they fly around, the way they attack the football, it's impressive to watch. Budda Baker, he plays with his hair on fire. He's all over the field, aligning everywhere. But it's like, man, does anybody in the league play harder than Budda Baker? I don't know. It's hard to say. He has an unmatched energy, right? And he's a really great football player. They do a lot of great things defensively when it comes to the pressure packages that they have. It's a lot of different looks, a lot of unique looks that we have to have our eyes up. We have to be aware on our offensive side of the football.
What makes Trey McBride dangerous at the tight end position, and is he a little bit different than some of the tight ends you have seen the past couple of weeks?
And McBride is a really good player. The thing that jumps off the tape for me with him is his speed and explosiveness at the tight end position, right? You truly feel like a bigger guy, but runs like a wide receiver. Really runs well. He's physical, really great hands. They do a lot of cool things and a lot of different ways to get him the football, whether it's the tight end screens where he's on the line. They can align him in a lot of different places where they have him running, special routes across the field. Like, he's a unique player at the tight end position. He's done a great job of catching the football, and they've done a great job of scheming plays for him.
What's the benefit of having a guy, we've talked a lot about Jalen, but what's the benefit of having a guy that you don't really have to take off the field in any situation, whether it's run or pass?
Yeah, for Jalen, I call him the X factor for our defense. Like, he can do it all. Right? When it comes to stopping the run, most of the time you worry about a nickel or DB being in the run fits, but we try to find ways to get Jalen in the run fits because he's a physical player, because he's smart. He understands run fits. Then throw him in passing coverage situations. He's able to cover receivers, tight ends. He's just all-around player, right, that you can't coach him on some of the instincts and things that he's able to do and some of the plays that he's able to make.
When you have a great defense like you guys have, do you think the different areas of the defense kind of feed off each other? Like, if the secondary makes a play, then the guys up front get hyped up. Do you think that kind of works together?
For sure. I feel that our guys play off of each other very well. And it goes back to earlier where they're excited to see each other make plays, and they're also a little jealous. So when you see one group making a play, it's like, oh, I got to raise my level of play to try to make that play or try to outdo them. But it's competitive, but it's fun. Like, our guys are feeding off of each other. And the more plays everybody makes, I think it feeds our entire team. Like, it feeds our team with the energy, enthusiasm that we need, right, to go out and excel and win games.
As good as the defense is, do you think that probably part of the reason why they're so good is because they keep wanting to do more? They're not satisfied with where they're at?
And if they try to get satisfied, I won't let them. So it's going to be hard. I always, for us just as a team, I know a lot of people are applauding the defense and talking about, how good the defense is. But our guys, we all know, like, we're honest. I'm honest. I'm an honest coach, and there's always room for improvement.
One of the things that you noticed in that game against the Chiefs, how when you guys were when Patrick Mahomes was on the move, your guys had, I would say, pretty good discipline in trying to hold up, knowing the things that he would do. Is that something you guys have worked on in terms of not getting those penalties because of what a quarterback might do?
Yeah, it was a lot of conversation about how we had to, handle ourselves around the quarterback before we went into the game. Understanding where we had some bad penalties there last year, so you can't go and do the same thing, expect different results. So our guys played smart football around the quarterback where we needed to usher him out of bounds, as we talked about last week. That's what I implored our guys what we needed to do, and they did that. And, we didn't get any bonehead penalties. And that's how we have to play the game versus any quarterback, no matter how physical or, how we want to swarm and play fast and physical. We know we have to be smart around the quarterback.
Oh, go ahead.
What was your initial honest reaction when you saw Phillip Rivers sign at 44, being that you're 41 and he's back?
Oh man, I was shocked, but I was not thinking about me gearing up to go play at all. No, I saw Phillip. I think it was like a year or two ago down to Alabama. So I saw him where he was coaching. So I had talked to him for a little bit. And I don't think either one of us was expecting that he would be back in the league now. But I mean, Phillip, one thing about him, he's always a true competitor. Like, he loves competing, and you see that from all of his days back with the Chargers and what he was capable of doing. So him having the history with Shane, I can see why he got him as an emergency guy. If he needs him, he can come in and run the offense well, and it's what you need from that position, someone you can trust, someone who's smart, capable of getting all the other guys in the right spots and making great decisions with the football. I feel like that's what Phillip will do.
Coach, last season, you walked into the locker room 2 times after playing Kansas City, one in Week 16, one after the divisional game, and you seen your players very emotional, from the loss. What was it like walking in this time with winning? What was the emotions like, and what number would you give Kamari from 1 to 10 on his dance moves?
No, Kamari as a dancer, definitely a 10. Definitely a 10. The emotions for me, it was calm. It wasn't over the top for me. I understand what I expect from our guys, and I understand what our guys expect from themselves. Like, we're a confident team. That's how you should always go out and play, with confidence, expecting to go out and play your best and expecting the result to be a win. So we have to move in that manner, and when you do it, you're not surprised or shocked or overly excited by what you do, because we put the work in throughout the week. That's why it wasn't anything surprising to me. Our guys worked really hard throughout the week, and they showed up and did the same thing on Sunday.
To follow up on that point, and you always say one game at a time, how did you kind of get to that, I guess, ideology that you can still continue to always put it one game at a time?
That's the only way I know, man. You never play a double hitter in football, right? It's always one at a time, and we work all week, right? We got 6 days to work that leads up to, whenever that game is, and we put our all, coaches, players, staff. We put all of our effort into the upcoming opponent. And sometimes, when I say it's truly one game at a time, sometimes my kids may ask, Dad, who do we play next? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, I really don't know who we play next. You guys tell me who we play next, because I can't do anything about the next opponent until we handle the one that's facing us right now.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
Yep.
We can do it.
CJ, some of the things you're able to do off script or escaping and then throwing on the run, how much of that is something that you pride yourself on, that you developed over the years to be able to make something when the play looks like it's not going anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, I try to just make plays and, whatever that looks like. So, on Sunday it was a little bit me on the move in the pocket, but I know stuff like that in this league doesn't last. So, got to just get better on just sitting in the pocket and taking what's there and just, our guys up front, blocking inside out and just, so we all know what we need to fix. And I think, as weeks go on, we'll continue to get better at that. But I think I can pull it out the bag when I need to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
On Sunday night, the third quarter, they came with blitzes, and it was kind of difficult for you guys. But then you made the adjustments to, get through the rest of the game. Talk about just making those in-game adjustments when necessary to be successful.
Yeah, I think we, talked about some things on the sideline and try to, find a way to calm the storm. And I thought we did a good job at that. I think, teams are going to, try to pressure us some more just because, we showed it on tape. So try to be ready for it and, have plans and, just be, good on what we're doing, and be calm in the chaos. Because, every game, no teams just keep letting you do the same things. They're going to adjust, and then you have to adjust. So just part of the chess match of football,
How's it been, building chemistry with your receivers? You got some new guys, some rookies. Obviously, we all know you and Nico's connection is flawless. But what's it been like, so far, especially late in the season?
I think we've, built rapport, throughout the room. Some of the guys are, I'm still trying to figure them out. And then I think, when I got the concussion, I thought I was getting a connection with some guys I haven't thrown to in a minute. And then, kind of had to restart that when I came back. So I think it's going to take more time, with everybody. But I think, we're taking strides every week. And we're just having more conversation and communications. I want them to see how I see it. And I want to see how they see it, So I think that connection, that chemistry is getting built every game.
CJ, how much are you looking forward to this, last few games of the season down the stretch? Y'all have the opportunity to basically reach the goals that you wanted to, even though y'all weren't able to start the season the way you wanted?
Yeah, it's a short-term memory, and trying to forget every failure, forget every success, and just move on and try to, put our best foot forward and, try to, go win every game if we can and put, our best ball on tape. So by the time, when it's do or die, we're able to, to play some good ball. So I think we're taking strides every week, but, always things we can clean up, and I think we'll get that done.
What do you think from the Cardinals defense, especially Buda Baker, some of the ranginess and things he does?
Yeah, I think, they're a really good defense. I think Buda, jumps off on tape and heck of a player, very instinctive. I think Thompson, their other safety 34, is a heck of a player. And they got, two corners. Denzel, who I played with in college, who I think is really good. And then Will Johnson, who I played against in college. I think he's good as well. So I think they do a good job on their back end, switching up coverages and, playing with the three safeties and, mixing up looks. So I think, their DC and, head coach do a good job of calling it. And, they take the ball away, they attack the ball. I think, up front, they rush together. The backers are, solid. Cody, who I played with in college, is a good player. I know how good he is. So, it's another challenge for us. And, we got to be ready to play and try to go get a dub on Sunday.
It seems like you guys do a really good job of just taking each game for what it's worth, not letting the moment get too big or too, whatever. So how have you guys kind of got to that point where each game is just that game, no matter who the opponent is?
Yeah, I think, when you're in the NFL, it's, a term that, you hear before you even get here is just any given Sunday, you can win or lose. So there's the best football players in the world, top to bottom. Every team, has dogs. Every team, has great coaches. And I think if you're coming with a mindset of not, establishing who you want to be and, because it's never really about the other team. It's all about, what you guys got going on. So if we can do that, week in and week out, we'll be all right. But this is a great challenge for us. I think it's a great defense, a great team. I think Jacoby Brissett is playing really good ball. Mike Wilson, their offense, McBride, Marvin Harrison. I think, offensively they're playing some good ball as well. So, I think we got to be on our A game if we want to get this win.
CJ, Nico talked about the play that you all made, the 53-yard reception that he had, and he said that a lot of that came from you all just being on the same page when it comes to the scramble drill? Is that something that you all practice? And when you do have to roll out of the pocket, things like that, how in sync are you with your receivers?
I mean, I think last couple of years I've been doing it a couple times, and I think I tell them like, man, it's like playing in the backyard. Just find space, have fun, and make a play, take care of the ball. But I mean, there's risk and reward with it, and you, like I said earlier, you don't want to live in that, and you want to be able to pull it out your bag when you can. But I think we're good at it when we get to do it, and just trying to make plays, and I think that's all what this league is about, and those plays add up to wins. So, but we don't want to live that way. We want to make sure we're playing on time. I got to be able to get the ball out of my hand, and that up front, we're fighting our tails off and doing a good job up there IDing, and we just got to keep that going so we can put our best foot put our best foot forward going into this playoff run.
Play that you
Go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say, and another play that you made on the Woody Marks touchdown pass. How are you able when you're under that much pressure to be able to still see the field like that, to keep your head up, knowing that all that chaos is around you? I know you said earlier about just staying calm in the midst of the confusion, and they teach that in the military as well. So how are you able to just be able to stay in sync like that?
Yeah, I don't want to say like I'm like no veteran or nothing, or Navy SEAL or anything. I love our military, respect to everybody who's serving for us. Yeah, I feel like I could have did a better job at it, in the calm and the chaos. I got hit a couple times, and that happens. You start to kind of naturally flinch a little bit and move around for no reason. But on that specific play, I just seen Woody and just try to make a play, and thought he did a good job of just being instinctive and making them pay for being aggressive. So. Yeah, I mean, I think I could have did a better job on that on Sunday, but it's something I can learn from and, try to be calm in that, because it's not easy, but the better you can do it, the more plays are to be made, especially on third down. So I think that's something that I can get better at is, just being calm in that chaos of, pressure, guys flying around your feet, hitting you after the whistle or whatever the case may be. And I just, want to, be able to put my team in a better position, so.
As Domingo talked about, up in the urgency pre-snap to maybe eliminate some of those close to delay of games or situations like that. Is that a practice thing? Is that a film thing? Is that a meeting room thing? A combination of everything? How do you go about trying to work those out of the equation?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. I think, our play calls, aren't short and it can get loud. So, it's sometimes, getting in there, I'm yelling as loud as I can, and, we're super tight in the huddle trying to, hear everything, and sometimes, things just happen, and, it sucks because, those sometimes take away big plays or stop momentum. So, it's something we got to get fixed, and, just me trying to communicate as best as I can. But, yeah, I think, it's not always going to be easy, and, how you weather the storm, those things do happen because it is a part of the game, and hopefully you try to eliminate it, but in a way atmospheres when you're motioning like we are and doing a bunch of shifts and fast motions, we all just got to be locked into what we're doing, and so yeah.
You've competed against and been teammates with Jalen Petrie for 3 years now. Just based on your observations and being near him, what do you feel like makes him valuable for you guys?
He's a dog, and he always talks about being a savage, and that's exactly what he lives. Eats and breathes. I think, just the tenacity he plays with, the effort, the knowledge that he has, the instincts that he plays with is second to none. And I always tell him, man, the way you fly around, as a quarterback, it's not always easy to, depict, how to throw a pass or, get it around him when he's jumping 40 inches off the ground, just to bat a ball down or playing in the back end, so he's very versatile. So I think, but I think everything goes back to him just being a savage and wanting to run fast, hit hard, and tackle. And I think he does a great job of it. And, I'm always excited to see my brother play well. And he was one of the first people I met, in this facility. So, I'm just really happy for him. And, he's big money Petrie. So, he's getting his money worth this week. And I think he'll continue to do it.
On those same lines, CJ, you've been practicing against this defense since OTAs. And Nico said that he's seen the way that they were playing even when we couldn't tackle. And so is anything that they do now, does it surprise you, or that's just something that you're used to seeing?
Yeah, nothing really surprised me too much, where I've seen them make plays on plays on plays, and I just think the communication and the instincts that they play with, and just the chemistry, like they've been playing together, for 2 years now with Aziz at the mic, Henry, at the wheel, and it starts with those two guys communicating, and then you got CB, Kamari, Miles out there, and Sting on the back end flying around, and then letting the dogs hunt up front, and it can get suffocating as a quarterback, dealing with just all the coverages, all the different leverages, and just then playing the coverage the right way, and then you got them rushing the passer relentlessly, and never stopping. That stuff after a while could get on your nerves a little bit, and you just kind of just get frustrated. But I think they've done a great job, and I'm glad I'm on this team.
What has Woody Marks brought to this team this year, and specifically during this stretch?
I think he's brought a ability to create yards at the contact, and be great in the pass game, and catch the ball and get upfield, and be dynamic in that area. So I think he's making strides in the pass protection, and know he needs to in that, and he wants to be better in every single area. So and he's a very mature rookie, and has done a good job of just never riding the highs, riding the lows, and I thought he's done a good job of taking care of the football and running downhill and making blocks right.
Hey, CJ, in the past you've talked about wanting to make sure that you enjoy the game, right? Working hard, taking it seriously, obviously, because every week there's some new challenge. Have you struck that balance, you think, where you're doing all the things to keep getting better, but it is still fun for you?
Yeah, it's a balance. It could get to be a lot, but I mean, to me, I think my joy comes from the Lord, and the ability to be here, have a job, work at this great team, this great organization. My teammates, so I think for me it starts with gratitude, just being grateful, to be here, where God didn't have to choose me, and He did. So I'm just very grateful for that, and I just think I just want to be a person who is a light, and that's our theme for our chapel service this week. Is this year is Matthew 5:16. We're letting our light shine so bright that others will see our good works and glorify our Father in heaven. And for me, I think that is what makes me happy. Because things are going to happen. The other teams are really good too. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. And even though you're striving for excellence and striving for perfection, there still has to be that gratitude and that enjoyment in the little things and to us, they're little, but they're huge because, we don't have to have, a job or, food and texting gear and all these things that we take for granted. So I think for me that brings me happiness and joy, and to see the way our fans showed up, and Kansas City was dope. And to play in that environment, I'm grateful for it all, and the good and the bad. So, yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.